America says it's a government of law, but nobody ever taught you those laws. Not in school, not at home, nowhere. Well, almost nowhere. There's one exception. The law students who pay their life away in loans just to learn the rules the rest of us never got. That's not an accident. That's design. Why do you think that is? This is something to think about. Let's find out the answer together. Stay tuned. I pray your day is going well. I was sitting here and wondering, it's been quiet lately. Quiet enough for me to sit and really think about how strange this country is. Because America calls itself a government of law, not of men. And yet most people have never been taught the very laws that control their lives. Everything here, your rights, your obligations, your protections, your punishments, your taxes, your contracts, the way police interact with you, the way courts process you, every last bit of it is rooted in written rules. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, statutes, codes, regulations, court precedents. That's the real backbone of this country, not opinions or personalities. And yet somehow, in a nation built entirely on legal rules, citizens grow up without learning any of those rules. We spend 12 years teaching kids equations, cloud types, and historical dates. And for the majority of youth, not one semester is taught on contracts, on due process, not one full grade on how rights actually work, not one semester to explain statutes or how judges interpret language, not even the basics of how to protect yourself in a system that will touch every part of their life. The youth will grow up, like most of us, signing leases they can't decode, agreeing to policies they can't question, accepting fines they don't understand, voting on laws they've never read, and facing a legal system that expects them to perform like they were trained, even though nobody ever trained them. And if you really sit with that, you realize it's not an accident. It's design. A legally educated population is harder to fool, harder to silence, harder to intimidate, harder to manipulate. When people don't know the law, they can be guided, pushed, or pressured into anything, because the rules aren't just words, they're power. That's why I keep saying the law should be taught from 6th grade to 12th, the same way we teach math, science, and reading. Because in a country where every part of life is shaped by rules, not knowing those rules is the biggest vulnerability you will ever have. Law is how you protect your rights, how you defend your family, how you negotiate power, how you understand government, how you stay free. And if we don't teach our children these things, if we don't prepare them to interpret policies, recognize traps, and navigate the system, then we're sending them into adulthood blindfolded, while the people in power have had night vision goggles their entire lives. Teaching law in school isn't optional. It's protection. It's empowerment. It's survival. Because a government of law only works when the people know the law. And the truth is simple. If we don't teach our children the law, someone else will, and it will not be for their benefit. If this message made you think, take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment so more people can hear what they were never taught. And if you want to learn the law in plain English, the way it should have been taught to all of us from the beginning, visit learnwithoddlaw.com and take the next step. I'm Mr. OddLaw, reminding you that knowledge is power, and you should always learn the rules before you need them. Stay wise, stay ready, and I'll see you in the next one.
Learn with OddLaw, OddLaw, OddLaw. Knowledge is power, now you in control. Learn with OddLaw.